Daryl, it was a tough challenge, the York game last weekend, but you didn't expect anything else, did you?
No, well, York have been playing well, and we previewed them pretty heavily before, and showed the boys what they were doing well. Really aggressive. The conditions give them a little bit of an opportunity to be even more aggressive, because it tightens the game up a little bit. So yeah, it's really tough. There's some key lessons for us. We feel like we've got a lot out of that game. It's the first time we've been challenged for a few weeks, in a really tough way, and no credit to York. I thought they played really well, and the kicking game was great, put us under pressure. So yeah, we'll learn from that, and then obviously we're right at the end now. We've got a couple of league games, and then we're into playoffs. So it's about sort of fine tuning and learning a couple of key lessons in a really tough game like that was the weekend.
There's a couple of players returning from injury, a few positional changes. Did that disrupt you a little bit?
Well, you don't really know. I mean, obviously Gailey came back in, and he's been out for a few weeks, and you kind of find a slightly different way to play. We've had Liam Kay and Max in there at half back, and you find a different way to play, and then a dominant half comes back in, and then you sort of have to reconfigure a little bit. But no, I don't think it was that too much. I think we just got put under pressure, and we handled some of it really well, and some of it not so well. And we've practiced today, pretty short session. Boys are still sore today, so we had a pretty short session looking at learning from some of the things that happened to us at the weekend, and then we just look to improve as we go through the next few weeks.
Barrow on Saturday evening, we beat them twice. What are you expecting from the Cumbrians?
Well, I think the one thing you'd say about them is that they haven't lost the sort of shape or spirit at all. They still look the same tenacious team that they did right at the start when we played them. The halfbacks have been consistent throughout the season. They kick well, and there's all Cumbrian teams. They're pretty big and physical. So. Yeah, that's the one thing I'd say about them, is they've kept the shape and the integrity as a team, and they're still working exceptionally hard. So for us is just do what we've been doing most of the year, defend well, and then learn the lessons from this week. The conditions look like they're going to be a little bit better than they were last week, but I thought that gave us a good look at sort of grand final-ish conditions. So we haven't got there yet, and we've got a lot of work to do, but it's good to have a lesson like that a few weeks out from when it really gets serious, the playoff game. Obviously we don't know who we're going to be playing yet, but for us is stay consistent and make sure we look after this game.
You preempted my next question about whether it was too early to start talking about the playoffs and the grand final. Is there any discussion between yourselves and the lads?
Well, I think just knowing what's in front of us and what we need to do, really. I think those kind of games where you have to adjust the way that you're playing a little bit. It's wet. There's a few errors out there, and I thought we put ourselves under a fair bit of pressure at the weekend, and we had to defend our try line consistently. I think we were close to getting another 0 on the defensive side of it, and there's a poor read there that conceded points. But yeah, we talk about what we've got coming up. I mean, we sort of two games left, aren't we? So we're in that sort of period where learning and being the very best we can be, stepping up a little bit, being super consistent, integrating a few players that are coming back from injury back into the team. As you've already mentioned, it can be awkward at times. So we've got a few sort of permutations to make sure we get right over the next couple of weeks.
We knew that Luke Gale were retiring at the end of the season, and then last week Jerry McGilvery announcing that he's finishing. What's been the reaction? I think I've known from the start really that he was retiring. So for me, there's not much. I just always felt. I even had his agent asking me if we were going to contract him next year. I said, well, you might want to have a word with Jerry. He's been sort of nailed on that right from the start, and full respect to him. I think he's been class for us and throughout all his career. So it's been a pleasure to have him this year, and you want to make sure that those players that are stepping out at the end of the year have a really good finish to the season. I think that's really important.